Hey guys, what's going on? Troy at Mountain Man Treasure here. Thanks for stopping in on a Monday night. You guys, if you're here, you're giving up the first Monday night football of the season. So definitely appreciate that. Steve, are you a football guy?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so you're giving up the football?
Yeah, I grew up a Giants fan too. My dad, my brother are hardcore Giant fans. That's who's playing tonight. But I'm a Vikings fan, but I just love watching all the games. So
that was a rough day for you yesterday.
Yeah, I watched that game. It was televised down here, and I was like, oh, with the Packers, and they're already starting out behind with them, and that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm seeing people pop in already. We've got Richard was here a half hour ago. Thanks for stopping, man. Nikki is in. Mary McQuain is here. Tina is here, and then Richard came back. He posted hello at 5:30. Now he's back. Beth in Georgia is here. Guys, thanks for coming in so much. We're going to get into it with Steve here in a little bit, and then Steve's in the chat too. Look at that, multitasking.
There you go.
We're gonna say hey to Steve, but just kind of give folks usually about 5 minutes to filter in. So if you're watching in the replay, you can fast forward 5 minutes. This is the small talk segment of the show. Midwest Merchandiser is in. Farmer Mark. Mark, thanks for stopping in, man. I got to meet up with you at some point. I got to get those masks from you. I didn't actually go shopping today. Yeah, your Packers won, Tina. Sorry, Steve's a giant or a Vikings guy. So
yes,
and I'm a Cowboys guy. So we always find new and interesting ways to lose and break hearts.
I hate the Cowboys.
I know everybody does, but you know what? I was there in the one win season. So, if I understand how you can not like Patriots fans, right? Because they're just riding that thing. They're just riding high.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be a Cowboys fan? Like, honestly, why would you pick that life?
Right.
It's a rough life. Papa Stick Treasures is in. Guys, thanks for filtering in. Steve, how's sales been today? You been doing all right?
I sent out. Well, I ship on Saturdays, so my Mondays aren't as heavy. So I shipped on Saturday. I had a couple from Saturday night, and I ended up sending out, I think, 14 I brought to the post office this afternoon.
Nice.
And then I have like 3 or 4 so far since I went to the post office till now. So
okay.
It goes up and down. My days are usually 4, 5, 6 a day, maybe. Some days you get a 1 or 2 or 0 once in a while. You never figure it out.
It's the weirdest thing. Like, I'll go from having like a $400 day, which is fantastic for me. The next day is like 22. Like, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason.
Right. But if you get those high ones, then the low ones aren't so bad. Like it was 12 on eBay and then 2 or 3 on Poshmark. So the eBay ones came out to like $300, just over $300.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because you're on multiple platforms, right?
eBay and Poshmark.
Poshmark as well, right?
Just eBay and Poshmark, yeah.
Okay. I tried Poshmark and I started there and I did well, but I got tired of the constant you need to babysit it all the time. I got tired of it. Do you not? Wow. You've cracked the code.
But I don't. To me, it's like a good backup for eBay.
Yeah.
I don't say, my focus is eBay, and then Poshmark is like just giving more eyes on a lot of my things. And if I get sales there, I don't I don't stress whether I do or not. But I don't do the sharing and all that. I just don't. I post something on there, and once I do it on eBay, I'll cross list it over. I share it that one time once I list it, and then I never share it again.
Wow.
And I probably still get in a week's time on average 3, 4, 5 sales a week out of there.
That's good, man. Because once I stopped sharing, that was it.
Really?
Sold nothing.
Yeah, I did that at the beginning, and I was like sitting there staring at your phone. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No way. Can't do it.
Folks don't know that's how Poshmark is actually set up. I mean, they want to be a social network, essentially. Mm-hmm. They're the social online shopping network. So
right.
It actually works on Poshmark is when you share your item, it's not like eBay and they do a search and just all that stuff pops up. in order you can sort by price or whatever. On Poshmark, the stuff that pops up first is the stuff that was most recently shared. So if I or Steve posts a Nike hat, people type in Nike hat and we just shared it, it's on top. But if you didn't share it for a month, everybody that shared it before you is on top. People have to sift down through the list.
Right.
They reward people that are sitting there sharing multiple times a day. And I just can't do that.
No way. No. But it's, I'm happy with what it, brings me as, like I said, like as a side to eBay, and I'm transfer that few $100 a month is fine with me.
Yeah. No, that's great. To have, my problem is I would realize I'd sell something on one or the other and forget to take it off when I was cross listing. And I never got into a situation where I then sold it, but I'd get an offer and then I'd go, wait a minute. I don't think I took that off. And I'd go back and I'm like, man, I sold that like 3 weeks ago. Yes. I got tired of having to stress about that.
Yeah. I've developed a habit that, like, when your phone rings and you got a sale, you look at your first instinct is you look at your phone. Oh, what's sold? And I just developed a habit. As soon as I look at my phone to see what's sold, whether it is a Poshmark item or an eBay, at that moment, no matter where I am, I go to the other platform and delete it. You're
better than I am.
I mean, and I forget sometimes, like especially like if I'm at the bins or in the middle of something real busy or I got my hands full, whatever be the case. But for the most part, that's what I do. And there have been a few where I'm listed something, I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have that anymore. And I'm like, good thing someone didn't buy it. Don't want to deal with that. But.
So, Steve? I mean, I guess introduce yourself to folks watching. I mean, who are you, and just give us the who is Pick and Roll.
All right. Well, my name is Steve. Obviously, I'm living down in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale, and I resell. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, and I have books on Amazon. I don't do that anymore. I don't actively send them in, but I still have some inventory left there that's slowly selling off. But I've been reselling on eBay. I've been reselling for about 8 years now.
Okay.
And Poshmark just coming up on 2 years. So
that's a long time to be on eBay. I mean, there's a lot of people. I'm like in my second year, so I'm a rookie. I'm learning from people like you.
Everybody learns from everybody. Like that's how I look at it. 8 years to 2 years. There's plenty of things that I can learn from you. I can learn from someone who's been doing it a week. You never know because they might know brands that I just that's the thing. There's so many brands that every time I'm in a thrift store, I'm finding things I've never seen before. So when do you ever get to the point where I don't think you ever could?
Yeah.
Where you're going to not I'm always comping things. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't have to, but I like to comp items because I like to find that fast sell. So I always look at the sell-through rates and, even if it's like a pair of Levi's that I've sold before, for instance, I look them up again because just to remind myself that, hey, these are fast sellers, these are slow sellers. What am I paying? Just to get that. Because if you can find that good sell-through rate, you're going to get your faster sales. So I'm always comping things in the store. I like to just buy smart.
Yeah. So what have you seen change, or what have you changed over 8 years on eBay? What have you changed in the way you do things?
Well, I haven't always done the thrift store method of sourcing. Like my first year and a half to 2 years, what I basically did, like I started selling things from around the house. Like a lot of people start that way because my kids were young and you get the excess toys and clothing that they grow out of so fast. So I started selling stuff that way. And then I had put an ad on Craigslist if anybody was looking for someone to sell their items on eBay. And I had found a few people, and I had like one lady who was, I don't know where she was getting the clothing. Maybe she was going to thrift stores in the bins or whatever, like we all do now. And she was bringing me clothing and I would photograph it and do the listings and I would get a, percentage. And, now looking back, I would never do that because there's a lot of work for that, a lot of pay, but I was just starting out. So it wasn't so bad. And I had a few other people. I was doing exercise videos, and then one guy had sunglasses. So I was doing things like that for people. I was never going to thrift stores and then selling my stuff on the side. And then after like maybe 2 years of doing that, I started, selling more just my own. And I was working at a mid-century modern furniture store part-time. And I was doing all their online stuff. So I would list all their furniture, all their accessories on eBay, Craigslist, the Let Go app, the, Offer Up, all those, bringing people into the store, selling items. So I learned a lot of the mid-century stuff that way. And while I was doing that, I was kind of just sourcing a little bit. That's when I was just starting to go into thrift stores, finding, that method out. And I've been doing the thrift store now probably, I lose track of time. It goes by so fast. I would say about, call it 4 years now in thrift stores.
Okay.
And just in those last 4 years of thrifting at stores, I've seen a big change. The stores I used to go, there used to be nobody there. And I would leave with huge piles of stuff. You never saw anybody looking things up on their phones.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. And I'm talking even up to like 2 years ago, it was like that, at least where I live. Now, when you go to Goodwill, everybody's on their phone. Everybody's looking. Everybody's, I go to the bins. I think probably 95% of the people in there are resellers. So but it doesn't, there's so much out there. I don't think it really affects, me as to what I do for my business. I'm sure most people it doesn't.
You have a pretty big area. Like me, I'm like, I got a couple of thrift stores I can go to. We're small town, rural for the most part. I guess I can see a positive and negative to that because you have obviously more people out there looking for stuff, but there's more places for them to spread out to, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm in a pretty dense populated area, Fort Lauderdale. Miami's to the south of me, 20 minutes, and then Palm Beach to the north. And just from my home, I am 3 miles in from the ocean. So there's like one thrift store that way. But within, say, a 3/4 radius around me, if I go 7 miles in any direction, there's probably 5 Goodwills, 3 Salvation Armies, a couple of American Thrifts. Then there's probably 5 or 6 local small like charity thrift shops. So I don't even go to all that. I go to the bins, which is a mile from my house, 1.5 miles from my house. And then I go to Goodwill and a couple of local thrifts. I never travel farther than 5 miles from my home.
Yeah, you got so many options. Explain to people the bins. We talked about that before on the show, but for folks that don't know, like here in Montana, we actually are one of the few states that don't have any at all.
Really? Wow.
I don't have one close to me. Like the state doesn't have one. And I know there's a couple states, and then there's people that are like, yeah, I've heard of them, but they're 4 hours away, or they're, explain to folks what the bins are.
The Goodwill bins, it's technically called the Goodwill Outlet. The bins is more of like a nickname for it. If you wanted to search for one near you, you have to Google Goodwill Outlet. But it's basically, some places, but my area, it's either leftovers from the store that have not sold, but with mine, I don't see too much of that stuff. And I know that because my Goodwills, they don't use price tags. They use a marker on, like, say, a shirt. They write the price on the tag or any items. So at the bins, I never really see items that are marked that way. So the majority of it is coming from, like, there's a park and share lot, or park and ride, I should say, lot, like right along I-95 here. And they have one of those like semi 18-wheelers in the lot. And it's a Goodwill truck. So if you wanted to donate stuff, it's like a box, but it's an 18-wheeler. Yeah. And you go up and you donate your stuff there. And that's all the stuff that goes to the bins. So a lot of people think it's all like rejects from the stores. And in some places it could be, but here it's mostly like direct donations from the trucks, from the boxes, and from right at the bins.
Yeah, and so it's overstock.
Yeah, and it's also just people, it's going and donating right to the truck, and instead of going to the Goodwill store, it goes to the outlet, the bins. Okay. And all it is it's basically like a warehouse, and they have like these carts that are maybe 12 inches deep, 14 inches deep, and they're like maybe 5-6 feet long, 4 feet wide, and they roll them out in rows, and they're just filled with clothes, and you just rummage through them. You know, some people, I've seen videos where people go to their bins and it's so casual, man. I get so jealous of it because they go in and it's like there's like 3, 4, 5 people there, and it's just you walk in and the bins are packed and they take their time. Mine is very high paced, very aggressive, and very competitive. So it's like they stand there, they bring all the carts out for the new row, and they blow the whistle, and people just they attack, and it's they just rummage through. So it's like piranha, and within like 3 minutes, they all go back against the wall and wait for the next aisle to come out, and then all the good stuff's gone, like that. It's crazy.
I want to see you do a video of that. Like not of you sourcing at the bins. I would sit and watch like a half-hour video of like blowing and people just swarming.
Yeah. I have clips of it in a few of my videos. Like on my channel, if you look, there's one like my first trip to the bins. It's called something like that. My first time at the bins. It was probably back from like the end of last year, November, October, something like that. And I got a few clips in there, and it shows the aggressiveness of some of the people in there. It's pretty crazy. And I don't see the things with me. It used to be like 30, 40, 50 people in there. So there was like no room. You're like shoulder to shoulder people going through. So I was like, I'm not dealing with that. I would wait till they all go through. And then I go in and I just tell myself, you know, a lot of the people, the majority of them, and I'm not prejudiced, so I don't want to hear that from anybody. They're Haitian women that are there. There's a big Haitian community here. And what they do is they go in there and they just grab up everything, but they're looking for they don't look at labels. They're not looking for name brands. So that is not a concern to me, even though there's a lot of them in there. And then there's like probably 3, 4, 5 guys that all they do, they're there every day and they're looking for the vintage stuff. Vintage single stitch t-shirts, concert shirts, sporting, clothing, all the vintage. That's what they look for. So and then there's a handful of people that are looking at just clothes in general. So when you take away the majority, like right now, because of COVID, they're only allowing like 20 people in at a time. So it's not as competitive. And then all those people are set aside of what they're looking for. There's still so much stuff there. So I wait till it's all gone. They walk out of the way. Now no one's at that row. And I go over and I just take my time. I go through it. And I always find things. And it's same with the hard goods. They blow that whistle and they attack the hard goods, but they're looking for certain things to sell at the swap shop. Like all the Haitian women, they take like pots and pans, whether they're sending it back to Haiti or the lightweight clothing, things like that, shoes. But they look for sandals and flip flops. They leave so much good stuff behind that, brands that they don't know of, they're unaware of. So I don't get concerned when I go let them rush. And then once they're gone, I go in and I always find stuff.
Well, and for people that don't know, I guess, or that are maybe new to your channel, but at the risk of, I realize how this is going to sound, but you do it all from a wheelchair, man. Like, I mean, you're in there in the fray. Do you get any sort of like, oh, you go ahead? Do you get any of that, or is it just like,
hell no, no, not at all? And actually, the first video that I said about my first trip to the bins to show the aggressiveness is that I had my GoPro on. And it was a shoe bin, and they blew the whistle, and I went in there with them. And we were basically like, I was pulled up, and it was lady to my right, lady to my left, just a whole row of people. And I was just moving shoes, and they had shoes tied together by the laces. And I grabbed one, and I didn't want it. I was just kind of moving it to the side. And at the same time, this lady grabbed the other, and she went, no. And she yanked it out of my hand. And it's all I got it in my video. And I got annoyed because I don't like disrespect and rudeness like that. And I was like, whoa, you don't got to be rude. I don't want it anyway, blah, blah, blah. I started giving her a little attitude. But yeah, that's why one of the reasons I don't go right into the fray is because of the chair. And it's easier for me to wait till they leave and I could go right up the row instead of trying to, because they'll come right up against me and they give me no room that I can't move. And that's one thing that drives me crazy. So, but I don't let it stop me.
Emily says you should accidentally run over some toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's coming from Emily. So if it's coming from one of the nicest people on YouTube, it's okay.
Yeah. It's happened.
Yeah. I mean, what element does that add to your whole reselling and thrifting? I mean, uh, it's got to make some things harder. No.
Um, Stuff on the top shelf, maybe like at certain stores. But I always find if I'll ask somebody if last resort, but I'll find like the other day there was a pair of cowboy boots in the local thrift store, and they have like a 5 level. So I'm 5'11" standing up, so I still would have had to reach up if I was standing. So I just saw to my left there was the sporting good wall. I ran over and grabbed the golf club, came back over,
There you
knocked
go.
it off the shelf. So I don't, you got to be a little creative at times, but I don't never. I mean, the biggest hamper for me is this carrying stuff. I can't push a cart around, so I'll just load up my lap, But at the bins, I have a bag and I just hang it off my handle. At the local thrift store, they know me. I go there so often. So if I get a few things, I just bring it up to the counter and say, "Hold this for me. I'm going looking for more." So, I don't. You got to, I've learned to be this way.
Yeah.
Since I got hurt. So to me, it's a non-issue. I don't go, "Oh, I'm in a wheelchair." To me, it's below me and behind me. So I don't look down at it. I don't see it. So to me, it's like, I feel like I'm not. I don't know. This sounds weird, but it's not like, it's like if someone lost their leg and they had a prosthetic leg, you wouldn't walk around going, "Oh, I'm on a prosthetic leg." You would be walking and you'd be like, "This is just." You'd be focusing on what's in front of you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that same mentality, I guess you could say, So I don't really.
No, I love that. I love. I don't know. I love how it's obviously a part of you and part of your channel, but it's not like, "Hey, look, I'm the guy in the wheelchair doing."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the way you go about everything, and your channel is fantastic. The Family Flips is in here. They were on the show here recently. Thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it.
I watched that.
We were talking before the show. I love watching your stuff because you're a lot like me. You don't have a niche. You don't, you're not the video game guy or you're not the t-shirt guy. You kind of pick up anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could fall into a niche if you have the resources,
Sure.
If you have that, if you got a good connection somewhere. And to me, it just makes it harder if you don't, because why would you narrow yourself down like that and limit what you're sourcing? So if I go into I go to the bins every morning, Monday through Friday. That's my first stop for an hour. And if I only went to the clothes, that hard good row of bins, there's so much stuff there that's worth money that sells fast and easy. So why would I ignore that when I'm not getting? Now, if I was getting amazing, huge bags of clothing every day, maybe I would, But for where I go, I just like to do it all. Now, I don't really mess with women's clothing too much. That's just a tough category. There's so many brands out there. A few things like today, I picked up a woman's Nike golf skirt. The skirt with the shorts underneath it. So I found that at the bins, and those sell for maybe $15-$20. But Lululemon stuff I'll look for that in the workout gear. But women's like blouses, some jeans I'll look at. But men's clothing, hard goods, shoes. I don't touch plush. To me, plush takes up too much room for the value. No disrespect to anybody that does them. I mean, I could be. That's my opinion.
Chris does it a lot.
That's my opinion. Sure, there's plush out there, but to me, if you got these bins back here, they're like the 60 quart or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So one of those, I could get like almost 30 pairs of jeans in them. It's like 20 to 30 pairs, depending. So if I can make $18-$20 profit, that's hell, on a pair of jeans, I'm packing $400-$500 of profit in one bin.
Right.
Now, if you got stuff plush, animals in one of those bins, you might only get, unless they're real small ones, you might only get 10 in a bin.
And that's why I shy away from them, only because of the storage. If I can get them for a good price and I know they're good, I'll grab them. And it's good store filler.
Right.
But I try to kind of limit myself on them because I do have limited space, and I like picking up stuff that's small. If I can. I only got so much room. Room for so many DVD VCR combos back here. I
right.
got 3 of them. I've got to test and clean and still list.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
But I mean, you'll grab those. I mean, you don't seem to mind. You know, I
No.
tend to. I see the profit and I pick up the things that are big and bulky and all of that, like the electronics, and then I don't list them forever. You don't seem to mind that though. Like you go ahead and list them. You do better than I do.
Yeah. I mean, right now I have one. I haven't even listed it yet, like you just said, and it's a DVD recorder combo.
Yeah.
A nice Samsung, and I got it sitting in the closet. But I've sold plenty of those. Yeah, the big stuff I don't. Golf clubs, it's easy. I don't mind it at all. Fragile stuff. It's, to me, shipping. I've been doing it so long. Shipping is like autopilot.
Yeah. Emily wants to know, you go to the bins every day. Do you list every day too? Or what is your routine for that end of things look like?
You go to the bins every day. Do you list every day? What is your routine for that? Yeah. So my daily, Monday through Friday, I go to the bins. I go right now. Every hour, everybody has to leave and reform a line and go back in. So they were opening at 9. I was getting there 8:45 and being the first group in, but now they changed it back to 8. But I still go at 9. So I get there 10:15, and everybody's cashing out. So now I'm like one of the first few for the re-entry.
Right.
Go in. I pass through for like an hour. When they make us leave at 10, I cash out. And then like today I did that and I just came home. And as soon as I get home, and some days I'll go like maybe to the regular Goodwill, and then mostly Thursday and Fridays when I'll go and hit other stores, make it a longer day. And then I'll come home, and like today I came home, I packed all my orders that I had, and then the stuff that I sourced this morning, right then and there, as soon as I get home, I photograph, document, measure, do all that, and get it all put away here or inside. So it's done, gone, no death pile. And then I have all the information on a sheet of paper. Now I don't necessarily have to go and list it, So like tonight, before I go to bed, I'll probably throw up a few more listings. Tomorrow, I always have excess. I call it on deck, things on deck. So they're already photographed. The pictures are in my laptop. All the information is written on a piece of paper. So I want to go list. I sit down, I have my piece of paper, and I just list. And doing it that way, to me, it's easier than, I think that's why a lot of people get deterred listing. It's like, I got to list things. I got to photograph them. I got to measure them. It's everything at once. So I break up that workload, and I can list like 6 things in a half hour by doing it that way, because it's just typing the info and uploading the pictures that are already on my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't have to do the measuring and the photographing at that point. So the listing is so much easier, and that's just how I do it. And I have no death pile ever.
Yeah, I love that. I've got a death fort back here. I've filled all those big black totes with items, so I definitely have it. But my kind of plan is to, because Montana, we have a season, and garage sales are about to be done. They should have been done already. We kind of got a reprieve, and last weekend there was some more, but it's not going to last much longer. So I kind of I buy in bulk. And then I plan to eat off of that during the winter when there are sales. You got stuff year round.
Yeah. I mean, winter time, it's 80 degrees here.
Right.
There's no winter. We don't have yard sales that are good though. The yard sales are not good around me. You would think Florida yard sale. I mean, year round they're going on, and it's better like November, December, January, February than it is in the summertime, because the summer is just so hot. People don't want to do it. And then right now, from June to like the beginning of November, is hurricane season. So it rains all the time. So people don't want to risk. So once you get into the winter, it's actually better, but there's still not, the quality is not around me. And from me, like I said, I'm 3 miles from the ocean. And between me and the ocean, like there's just the wealth that's over that way near the water. There's just, thousands of $1 million homes.
Yeah.
It's so high. So those people, like for instance, the private school that's up the street that where all those kids go to, I mean, the high school kids are driving Mercedes and, BMWs and all those, Teslas. It's crazy. So all these wealthy homes, they got nice stuff, but they don't want to be bothered doing a yard sale.
Right.
So they donate it, and that's why I find such good stuff at the thrift store.
They're just taking it to the bins.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. RW says, how do you get the mindset to go from buying to listing?
Maybe I'm not understanding that. Like, you mean just buying it, but not they end up accumulating a death pile?
Yeah, I mean, some people just it's more fun. The find is more fun than the actual.
Right. Yeah, the addiction is in the sourcing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you want to make money, you got to list. Right. I mean, it's really. I mean, yeah, I love going every day because you never know what you're going to find, and that's everybody has that problem or that addiction. You know, that's the thrill of the hunt, they call it. But the listing, like I said, by breaking up the workload and photographing as soon as I get home and getting everything put away, the listing is just, believe me, it's so much easier because then you just sit down at the computer and you're just typing. So to me, it's not, and I do my listing usually at night. So I'll, I'll do my stuff in the day, then I'll take a break in the afternoon, have dinner, whatever, watch TV with my wife. And usually sometimes like 10, 11 at night, I'll jump on and list 4, 5, 10 things, whatever be the case.
Yeah.
So, because it's quick, I could do it in a half hour to an hour.
Right. So, yeah. Nikki D says she lists within 24 hours of buying right now. Like, you guys put me to shame. I just can't. Part of my problem is I buy in bulk. I go to these garage sales and I buy a carload of stuff. Like, there's no way I can, because I'm coming home with, sometimes if it was a good garage sale weekend,
right.
I might have 50 or 60 things in the car. Not always, but I mean, there are Saturdays where I come home with like 4 dozen things. I can't list that all.
Right.
No way.
And then you start picking out your favorites that you want to list.
Right.
Right. And then you got like the look
file. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I do too when I list. Like when I photograph everything, in no particular order, I write them all down on my list. And when I go to list, I just go right down that list. I don't go, oh, this is a $50 item. Oh, this is only a $10. Let me skip that. I just go right down. So I don't try to play favorites too, and just gets everything listed that way.
Yeah. It makes it tough because I do it part-time. So, I have limited time. I'm really bad at time management as it is. So if I don't want to be doing this all day, that I'm home, I have to set limits on it. So there's days where it's like, I listed my 3 things. I'm good. That's what I can do if I want to do anything else or see my family. Right. So, part-time has its benefits, but listing it gets tough.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in this game, to me, like part-time is just, there's no such thing as part-time reselling. It's just whether you have another job or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it takes a lot. I mean, you could catch yourself doing this, every moment of your free time, right? You come home from work, then you're sourcing, then you're photographing, then you're listing, then you're packing, you're shipping, and then the day's done. So it's like, part-time makes it sound like you only do it once in a while, but it's all your free time basically.
It is. No, it really is. I have jobs. Yeah. Is what I've got. I mean, I came home and I packed a lot of stuff yesterday, but I still had like 5 sales come in either last night or overnight that still had to go out today. And then I think 4 more came in today. And I'm like, well, I'm packing those. I might as well. So I came home from work and I had to pack like 9 things.
Do you do one-day handling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually it's not bad during the week, if you get 5, 6 things. So I don't mind that. How many things are in your store?
Right now I'm at like 370 and slowly growing. I've never did a lot. I only had this eBay room built to when the close down started. So I was like maxed out in storage. I was using all the closets in the house.
Yeah.
And I went from when the shutdowns, when everything closed down because of the virus, I was staying around 250 mark, right around the limit for the store. And then once shutdown came and I couldn't source because I had no death pile, that was the one time in life where a death pile was not beneficial.
Exactly.
Or for me at least, not having one. But I got knocked all the way down to like 200 in those 2 months, from not sourcing and things just selling. So things have been open now for like maybe 3 months now around me. So of course it's, that's one of the hardest things to do is to grow your inventory quality wise while selling things. Yeah. So to go from like, even if you have 100 items and you want to go up to 200 items, to do it smart, that's a tough chore because your things are selling. So it's like 2 steps, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's a slow climb. So I've been doing that. And I've been getting some good hauls lately, and I'm at 370. They, surprisingly, eBay bumped up the store to 350 from 250.
Yeah.
I mean, when have they ever done something like where they give you something like that?
I know.
So that was a nice thing. So now I'm trying to get. I think I want to stay like. I have room to get up probably around 500-ish and stay in that range. I don't need to have 1,000 item because like I said, when I comp, I look at the sell-through rates. So I kind of get a fast turnover.
Must be really good because if you're doing 1% every day, that's sort of the thing that I hear is, if you're doing 1% of your listings, you're doing it right and things are moving right. And you're selling like you dropped off like 14 or something over the weekend. Your sell through is really high for the amount of things that you have in your store.
Yeah, and that just comes from comping items and not just saying, oh, this might sell. Oh, this might sell. Me looking it up and saying, oh, this has a good sell through rate. Oh, this doesn't. And I'm not taking that, even though it's $1. Whatever be the case.
Yeah. Now I got lost in the chat because yard sale. You went and posted a bunch of stuff on me. Let me back up here. Yeah, Richard said that taking all the photos that you have and on your phone so you can list that, and that's what I try to do is, hey, I've got 10 minutes, I can list this thing. I don't. Kevin at Commonwealth Picker does the same thing.
Right.
Teacher, and he posts during breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't list on my phone.
Do you not? I'm straight on the phone. 95% of my stuff on the phone.
I don't. To me, it's just too small. I like being on a computer because it gives me that it's just an ease. It's easier. And when I list some things, I like to be able to jump on Google and look up certain specs on something or this and that. That option there. It's easier looking up comps, and I just like doing it that way. I just don't like the phone. I don't do much on the phone.
Have you given any thought to starting a clean out company so you can get all the goodies?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. But I mean, I'd only be able to, manage. I won't be able to do it, given the chair.
There comes to be a point of how much can you handle, right? Like,
right.
I like the idea. We had Family Flips in here, and I love the idea of buying a pallet. But then I'm like, where am I going to put it?
Right.
I kind of feel like I'm almost at my limit right now.
Yeah, a clean out company would be nice, but I figure, sure you're going to hit that gold mine once in a while, like anything else. But then you're also going to have a truckload of junk that you have to dispose of, and you need a truck. So there is definitely a big undertaking to get involved in something like that. I mean, I don't think it'd be for me, but it does sound. I wish I knew somebody that had one.
Right.
Where I could say, they could call me and say, hey, we're cleaning out this house today. Come by and see what you want. That's what I want.
Flashback Finds is here. Thanks for coming in. Roxanne is in the other room before she has to go get our kiddo. Thanks for coming in, babe. Richard just made a sale. Hey, you made a sale too, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, since we started, I've had two come in since we started. I sold an electronic game that I picked up the other day, and then that small stone. It's a guitar, pretty cool thing. It's called Harmonic Small Stone. It's phase shifter for a guitar.
Okay.
I didn't know what it was. I found it at the bins the other day, and it sold for $114.
Meanwhile, I just got a message is all I've got. I hate when you get messages because you don't know what that's about. Let's see.
Yeah, that's a nerve thing.
Nope, they're just asking if I have something else. No, I don't. That's easy. I hate getting messages. That's that. You hear that chime and you're like,
know.
Yeah,
like, what happened now?
Did I sell it to this person? Did I?
Some unreasonable complaint.
Right. I hate messages. eBay needs to change the tone for a message.
Yeah, right.
I hate that. Yes. Yeah, Richard, it's always a competition, my friend. And right now, Steve is winning. He's doing well.
I'm just in the mix.
Explain to people your YouTube channel. For folks that aren't subscribed to your YouTube channel, I like how you have things set up a little different than other folks do, like on your what solds and stuff. You do that a little different.
Yeah, I kind of do a mix of videos. I have my playlist. One is called Thrifting Adventures, where I'll like probably once a week I'll take my camera and film at the bins and just do like a 2 or 3 store run, and do the typical what I got at each store, break it down, and I try to make it more of like a, I definitely don't want it to come across, and nobody does come across that way, but you never know what people might think. You don't want to be like, hey, look what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm going to make so I want it to be more of a learning. So when I get to the end, I always make sure that when I comp everything, I do screenshots of all the comps of everything I found. And then I run those screenshots so you can see why I bought that item today. You know what I mean? So just saying, I got this. This is going to make me $50. So I show those comps, show those brands. Maybe someone will learn something. And then I have what solds. And right now I'm doing once a week. I do it on the weekend. I have categorized them. I should do a mix of, sales. But now I've broken it down. I'm doing hard goods 1 week, clothing 1 week, shoes 1 week, hats 1 week, and then I, go back through. And once in a while I'll mix up. Maybe I'll do just pants. And I kind of do it like that. And I'll give a whole breakdown of the numbers, what I paid for it, where I got it, how long it took to sell, what it sold for, and my net profit. Now, I always say it in the videos, the only number that you really need to pay attention to is what it's sold for.
Yeah.
And then you could compare, because my buy cost is different than yours and different than everybody else's, but that item is going to sell for that, those pair of jeans are selling for $30, whether you're going to pay 5 or 2 or 8, and then you can break it down yourself. But to me, I just try to give it that information as, here's the brand that sold, here's what it sold for. And then how long it took to sell too, because that's an important thing.
Yeah. Forever Blue Lady says, I put it up here. Have you ever thought about selling at local flea markets and shows besides selling on eBay?
No. I mean, we have it's called the Swap Shop, and it's like a big outdoor. It's like a drive-in movie theater on the weekends, and it's just flea market, outdoor flea market during the day. But I know some people that go over there and set up, but that's just not for me. I don't want to do too many things. I'm content doing the eBay.
Yeah.
Back up as Poshmark. Once in a while I'll send something to Amazon. But I like to I can stay focused on that, and I'm content where I am. I don't need to, I know Macari's out there or Depop and there's other things. I haven't really, I've thought about it, but I'm kind of just holding back for now. I'm kind of just, if I could just focus on eBay and make that work for me, I don't want to burn myself out,
right.
Flea market and here, then there, like, I do enough.
Yeah. You got to pick what you got to set guardrails on everything. Right. Joey Bada Bing is in.
Joey
coming by, man. Do you have, I anticipate you have a live show coming up here tonight. Let everybody know what's going on in the live show in the chat, Joey. We'll send everybody over there. And you know what? I'm drinkless tonight. I hadn't been without a drink tonight, so it's still different. Joey, I don't know what color my drink is. Right now, I don't actually have a drink tonight. Joey, look at that. Joey comes in, and it's like everybody, the man doesn't drink caffeine. He shows up, and the chat just starts bouncing.
Yeah.
He's the human caffeine pill. Yeah, so I like the way you were talking about how you kind of separated, like, hey, here's some of the hats I sold this month, and here's some of the shoes, and
right.
I think that's a good thing because people can sort of, hey, I want to learn about a category, and they can do it that way, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk like, what sold videos are played out, they're over with. So I try to want to just make it as informative as possible, because there's a lot of people that say that, but you got to think, as creators, we're not necessarily, yeah, we are learning off each other, but we're not really making videos for each other. There's a big world out there that are watching these videos that are not, like, we all know everybody in the chat. A lot of them are, may have their own channels, but I'm not necessarily making my videos, for Joey. He's not making his videos for me. We have a lot of viewers that are just coming to learn, or just, they like the thrifting. They like the flea markets. They like watching it virtually. feel like they're there. So that's what I try to, make it informative and just help people learn.
Joey, I've been delivered my water.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, I actually got a message. They sent it on Instagram, so I'm not gonna, I won't throw out their name, but it goes to your point there for why we do this stuff. Steve, is I got a message today from somebody that said, I just wanted to say thank you for the tiki bolo that you shared, because I talked about like tiki items. They're like big. I sold some tiki mugs for ridiculous money.
Yeah.
You shared on your YouTube channel a few months ago. I went on the last hours to an estate sale, walked by this tiki drummer toy. Then I remembered your bolo. I looked him up and saw it was a rare toy. If it worked, I took a chance and picked it up for $4. Took it home, cleaned out the battery compartment, and it worked. Sold for $60 plus shipping. That's why I'm doing this, and I sent them a message back and said, thank you. That because that's how I learned. I learned so much stuff from people like you, Steve, and from Primetime Treasure Hunter, and from, everybody out there. Rally Roots, of course, is one of the first ones everybody finds.
Right.
That's why I wanted to do it. And so to get messages like that of, hey, I saw something that you told me about, and I made $60. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. And, they could change someone's life with a little bit of money. Like that same thing. I have a few people that are, sending me questions and messages on Instagram all the time, and that are just asking for information and help. And I have no problem doing it,
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, that makes me feel good, to see that stuff. I got a message last week like, hey, I saw you bought that vintage Snoopy pole. I saw that video that you sold it. The next day I went to a garage sale, and guess what I found? That where else does that happen, right? But YouTube and eBay.
Exactly. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, I don't see, I don't make, there's plenty of people out there, like I said, doing bigger, better things, making more money. But for what I do, I'm content. I like to grow a little bit more, but I don't need to, constantly chase bigger and better, and, don't have to have that 1,000 item store. I'm, just find happiness in what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of find that happy place of items in the store, right? Like, mine's actually grown a little bit just because of some of bulk sales of like games and like I got all these field manuals from this guy in the National Guard, and they sell for anywhere from like $10 to $25 a piece. A lot of them are in that $10 range,
right?
But they're very easy to list. I got it was a postal crate full of them. So stuff like that ramps up the number of things you have in your store real quick because it's so easy,
right?
But I'm in a pretty good groove and pretty good lane right there at like 750 is kind of my happy place, just because as ridiculous as it sounds, I don't want to sell too many things because I've got another job. I got a full-time job.
Right.
I can't pack it all if I start selling too much stuff.
Then it becomes not fun.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want it to be just like, oh man, I have to do this.
Then you start having late shipping, and then it snowballs into problems.
Yeah. So
yes,
what is your biggest win? I mean, you've been doing this for 8 years. Everybody always wants to know, like, what's the biggest flip you've made? And I guess there's you can define that different ways, right? But like, what's that one that you remember that is your best, whether it's return on investment or biggest dollar amount or just your favorite for some reason?
Dollar wise, there's been nothing major. I've sold, like, I like to look at I always look at bags. I find a lot of Toomey bags down here. So I've sold a handful of those that I paid like between $5 and $10 and sold them for, $150 range. I found a pocketbook. Now we're talking just dollar wise wins. I found a pocketbook. M. Missoni was the brand at Goodwill. I paid $6 and I sold it for $175.
Wow.
A few other handbags that I paid like $10 and sold them for over $100. Geez, I mean, the one sale that just came in that I told you about, that guitar phase shifter. I got that at the bins. It probably weighs half a pound, so maybe it cost me $1 and it just sold for $114.
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, nothing more than, I have a source that I get free things from. I mention in my videos all the time. I get a lot of free clothing, and I've sold sneakers for like back with like the foam posits and like the LeBrons and type. I'm not a sneakerhead, so I don't remember all the terms. But I've sold sneakers like that for like $300 to $400 that I got for free. But from thrift stores, yeah, I'd say like $5 to $10 cost until like 150 is like it's happened many times. Nothing more than that.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I mean, the home runs are nice, but it's just that I call them the meat and potatoes finds that you sell 5, 6, 7 of them, and you've had a great day.
And that's why I like going to the bins because the buy cost is so. It's basically like yard sales, you could say. It's $1.75 a pound. So like today, I spent $6 and change, I think, and I probably brought home $100 worth of stuff once it all sells. So it's to me, every one of those is I found this shirt today. I don't know if you know about guns. HK, HK Harry Cock?
Yep.
Well, this T-shirt is a single stitch vintage, made in USA. I don't know if you're gonna see the tag, but I was going by the bin, going to the hard goods, and this was laying right on top. And I saw the sleeve. I was like, "Oh my god, that's a single stitch!" And it was just laying there, and I just grabbed it and just kept going right to where I was going. And when I got home, I looked up the vintage HK shirts, and they're selling for like $40, $50.
Oh yeah.
So that cost me, 50 cents.
Yes, and stuff like Ruger that sells really, really fast if you find Ruger stuff. And I actually grabbed. It's neat when you find stuff that does that. Like this thing, I talked about it on one of my recent videos, the Dune encyclopedia. This is from 1986, 84, 1984. It's a Berkeley trade paperback edition. I bought this at a guy who's like, it was my notoriously overpriced estate sale, which whatever I put in there like took off because that's got almost 1,000 views in a couple of days, and my videos don't get that many views, so people are watching that. I picked this thing up for $1 at this guy's like overpriced estate sale. It's got water damage all on the back, and it actually like came through even inside.
Okay.
This thing, I thought I might have just got another bid on it. This thing has something like 35 watchers. I've never had anything. I put it up, water damaged, and it's up to $159, I think, at auction. It's crazy. This thing is, it goes up, it will sell. If you find one of these going like 100%, it sells every time, except for the one guy that's got it listed for $645. That guy's going to hang on to it forever. He's nuts. But it's nuts. And you find things like this. Like, that's why I love this, is who would have thought that this just sitting there, that I was like, oh, Dune. People like Dune. It's got a cult following. I should look it up. And then it was almost like, let's get out of here before he realizes what I got. Right? Like,
for sure.
I love finding stuff like that. And that's why I think it's cool to do like you do and like I do and pick up stuff that's different. You not have a niche. Otherwise, I'm not a book guy, but I know enough to at least glance at them and see if I see something that looks interesting.
Oh, there's a lot of money in books. Like I said, all last year, 2019, I did books for Amazon, FBA, and I just go to stores every day scanning books, and I sent in like a little over 800 books, and I'm down to like I think I have like 50 or 60 left. And they've just been selling and selling. I haven't sent any in since last October, but they're still selling it off. And I have a video on my channel, the 12 highest selling books for 2019 that I did at the end of the year. And out of those 12 books, I made $900 profit. Just saying, just from scanning books at the thrift store. And every one of them cost me $1, maybe $2 the most.
Yeah, and I just can't stand standing there and scanning the barcodes. Like it just drives me nuts. Like I'll do it for a little bit, and then I'm like, man, 90% of these are no good. I want to go and like look through the stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Now I just go to the book section and I'll look for certain topics or certain books that I know are sellers just to throw them on eBay now. I don't send them into Amazon anymore. But there's a lot of money in the book section. Even at the libraries, you can go to the library and make money. if they have like a Friends of the Library nook or a bookshelf that they sell books, video games, DVDs, they sell them at the library.
Yeah.
And cheap.
So what is the one we talked about your wins? Has there been one of those on the other side of that coin, like the biggest mistake or the biggest loss?
No. I mean,
No?
I don't want to not to sound cocky or nothing, but
I love
nothing
it.
major. Nothing major. I haven't bought anything, my buy costs are low. So I haven't really had anything that I've lost on big time.
Yeah.
$20 here.
Yeah, when you're scoring them from the bins, I mean, even a miss doesn't really hurt, right?
Right. Yeah, it's dollars. It's nothing. You make it on the next item easily or the other item. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Here's let's see. Lone Star Picker says, don't scan, you don't find the knowledge, and sift for gold. Sometimes you get the good stuff, like you at the estate sale, bro. I have a book follow to share with you. Find it out. Yeah, share it, man, or with everybody or with me. I don't mind getting secret knowledge. Yeah, it's just interesting because now anytime I see this book, I'm like, oh yeah, pick it up. And you just remember stuff like that. It's somewhere back in the back of your mind that, oh yeah, I picked that up before. And you don't even need to look it up at a garage sale or estate sale or wherever it is. It's, oh yeah, I know that book. I think we lost Steve. I got a dog hair on my face. Steve, you froze up on me, my friend. Either that or I'm frozen. You guys let me know in the chat what happened there. We were almost done because Joey Bada Bing 22 is going off here in like 3 minutes. Yeah, and my wife's got to go get our kiddo from work. I've still got some chat coming in, but Steve is frozen on my screen. Midwest says I'm good. So Steve, I know you're still watching because you were in the chat. I don't know. I don't know what happened. You can if I bounce you out, man, you can try and bounce back in real quick to say goodbye. So I'm going to bounce you off of here real fast. All right. Bounce back in. If you leave the room, Steve, and then come back in, I think it might let you bounce back in because I took you out of the stream. Lone Star says the 50th anniversary of the Luby's recipe books. Yeah, did I see that? I think I saw that on Instagram. I thought you posted that. Yeah, Luby's has a following, doesn't it? That's crazy though. I mean, and so many people are going to walk past that because it's a cookbook, right? Nikki says that Steve is frozen on TV, but not on the phone. He's frozen on my screen as well. I'll add him back in if you guys are seeing him. I'm not. I just see him frozen, but yeah, I don't know what happened there, Steve. But everybody go check out Steve's channel. It's Pick and Roll. If anybody in here is not actually subscribed, I assume most of you are because he's got it's upwards of 2,500. I think he's at 2.5K. So a lot of folks are subscribed, and they ought to be because there's really, really good stuff on Steve's channel. So go check that out for sure. We just hit 1.5K, which is really, really cool. So we're now at 1,500. Actually, I hit it and then I lost one. So we went back down to 14.99 earlier today. But yeah, we're basically 1,500. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to the channel, come on in and subscribe to ours. Yeah, Emily says RIP Steve's Wi-Fi. I don't know what happened, man. I feel bad. We almost made it. We were minutes away. Nikki and Gary. Nikki subbed. That's good, Nikki. Steve is really good. You're gonna like his videos. I know you're subscribed to me, and I guess you like my videos. And Steve sources a lot of the stuff that I do, and does a lot of things the same way, which is why I really I'm glad that he came on the channel. I'm going to mention again, since I've got you guys here just on our last minute, I actually got a message from the folks with Montana supporting military. They sent me a thank you note today. I should have. It's in the kitchen. I should have had it here with us. But for all the folks that donated when we did our fundraiser, they said, you can't believe how big a deal that was. It was a handwritten thank you note from these folks. They said, I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. This Christmas, for the first time in a long time, there's going to be some empty soldier stockings, essentially, or emptier than they have been, they said. And the money that you guys donated through our channel to do that is special to them. They're going to be able to add some stuff that they weren't going to be able to have before. So thank you so much for doing that. Montana Supporting Military is so grateful for it. We may do another one again here, and we are grabbing Christmas cards still. I've had a couple of folks send them to me already. So if you guys see Christmas cards at garage sales, or you happen to just see some in the store, whatever, pick them up, write a little note in there. And send it to me. My address is underneath in the description of this video and all the other videos that we've been putting up. If you send them to me, we're going to collect them all. I'm going to drop them off. We need to have them by about mid-October. And I'm going to take them to their office and drop off a big box of Christmas cards. I think we're up to like 75 cards or something like that right now. So, if you want to just write a little note in there, have your kids write a note, draw a picture, whatever, we're going to send them to troops deployed across the globe. So, throwing that out there, if that's something you want to do, that's fantastic. Kevin, thanks for coming in. I put your comment up there and forgot to say something about it. So I've got the Enaman Christmas ornament right back here. He's hanging out here until we get him on the tree. So thanks for coming in, guys. We're going to cut it off. Poor Steve got stuck. Steve, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. Joey Bada Bing 22 just went live. So everybody, head on over there. It's a listing and chatting session. If you're not excited to list, Joey's going to get you there. So go check that out, and we'll see you next time. We don't for sure have a guest. I have a couple of folks in the wings, but I haven't confirmed next week yet. But we'll let you know here pretty soon. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.